Hello everybody and welcome to the new video. Today I will be talking about what support I would like Lightsworn to receive in order to make the deck more playable, like tier 1 or maybe tier 2, because the deck is not currently in the best spot. But before I get to the cards, I would like to go through some problems the deck currently has in order to get a better idea what kind of card the deck needs. So here we have a current Lightsworn build I would normally play. It's not super refined or anything, but you can get the general picture. The biggest problem the deck has, in my opinion, is its ability to go second. As you can see, there are no hand traps in the deck, because you want your mills to be as good as possible in order to extend your plays, and hand traps will stop your opponent from playing, but they won't help you to make plays. But that means your opponent will play uninterrupted, which will probably result in the full combo. So in order to win, you will have to try and play into their board. And of course, one solutions are board breakers. As you can see, I play 3 Forbidden Droplet in this build. But board breakers aren't always the solution, because they don't always deal with all the interruptions your opponent has. They can have interruptions in the graveyard, in the hand, in the spell trap zone, and most board breakers can only deal with the monsters, and then you still have to play through the rest of the interruptions. And the second problem are the bricks in the deck. Of course, cards like Felis or Wolf are most of the time just sitting in your hand, and you can hope that you will use them as discard fodder. And with that, instead of having 6 cards to play into their board, you now have 4 or 5, or even 2 or 3, because there are a lot of cards that you cannot use without previous setup, like Judgment Dragon or Chaos Dragon Levianeer or even Bestials. If there are no light or darks in the graveyard, you cannot do anything with them. And then you just don't have enough resources to turn the tide of the duel. The third problem is there are no one-card starters in the deck. You always need to have some additional setup in order to start your plays. And you can argue you can start with charge, mill 3 cards and get Dragonlink, for example. But still, if you haven't milled a Lightsworn, you cannot start your play, because Dragonlink is dead in your hand. Or you can get Vice, for example, normal summon it, and go into Finsmith Requiem, make 2 level 6s, and make Pilgrim Reaper, mill 5 cards, and hope you will mill something that will get your combo going. But there is no guarantee for that. And another problem the deck has is its vulnerability to cards like Shifter or other Banishing Floodgates, because the deck just cannot function under them. The core mechanic of the deck is just stopped. Also, the deck is very vulnerable to Droll and Lockbird. Even though you don't need to search a lot of cards later in the combo, the deck plays a lot of cards that get you to the cards in order to get started. And finally, there is not enough good Lightsworn names, in my opinion. I'm not even playing Solar Recharge, which is a very strong card. You can get to set up a Lightsworn in the graveyard, draw 2 cards and mill 2. But I'm playing only 11 Lightsworn monsters. You won't always see them together. So in those cases, Solar Recharge would be just another brick in the hand. Also, cards like Xyz Minerva and Garrett can draw a card for every Lightsworn monster they mill. In Minerva's case, even for Lightsworn cards, it doesn't have to be a monster. And they can give you so much more cards in the hand, it's crazy. And just the last thing before we start, I could have made a card like Lightsworn Circular, when you can just send a card from the deck for the cost and special summon it. But I wanted to make cards that I would see actually Konami printing, but still make the deck better. And the first card we have is Jerry's Lightsworn Vagabond. I would like to just give a quick shout out to the artist, Primus John. I will leave the link to his Reddit post in the description below. And please go check it out, because this art looks phenomenal. And also, the name is his suggestion, so I kept it because it sounds pretty cool. But let's get to the card. So it's a light level 4 spellcaster with 1900 attack and 1300 defense. If a card is sent from your deck to the graveyard while you control a Lightsworn monster, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. So it's extender if you have a Lightsworn monster on the field. If your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can discard this card, send one Lightsworn monster from your deck to the graveyard, except Jerry's Lightsworn Vagabond. If this card is sent from the deck to the graveyard by the effect of a Lightsworn monster, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, banish it, and you can only use each effect of Jerry's Lightsworn Vagabond once per turn. So it's basically an extender, and also it has a disruption effect if you mill it, and you can use the second effect to put it in the graveyard, so you can summon Dragonlink for the next turn and get another Lightsworn in the graveyard like an extender, or you will see in a bit it has synergy with the second monster. The second card is Sophius Lightsworn Seer. This card is based on an owl in Minerva's artwork, but this time I couldn't find artwork for it, so I used AI tool to generate it, just because I wanted to have at least some picture to make it more visual. So it's a light level 4 winged based tuner with 400 attack and 600 defense. You can discard this card, activate one Ascension of the Light, which is a field spell we will check in a second, from your deck or graveyard. During your opponent's turn, if this card is in your graveyard, quick effect, you can target one other Lightsworn monster in your graveyard, place it on the top of the deck, and if you do, add this card to your hand, then send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. So the idea of this effect is, on your opponent's turn, you can activate Jairus, send this card from the deck, and then you can activate this card's effect in the graveyard, add it back to the hand, and mill Jairus to banish a card from your opponent's field. And also on your turn you can then discard it to get the field spell. And then during the main phase, if this card is in your hand, quick effect, you can destroy one Lightsworn monster in your hand or face-up field. And if you do, special summon this card, and you can use each effect of Sophius once per turn. This last effect was inspired mostly by Fire King High Avatar Kirin. I think it's a pretty neat effect. You can dodge targets or effect negates like Veilers or Imperm, or you can get rid of bricks from your hand like Wolf or Felis and summon it. And the final card, Ascension of the Light, which is a field spell. Lightsworn monsters cannot be banished by your opponent's card effects. If a card is sent from the deck to the graveyard by the effect of Lightsworn monster, you can destroy one card on the field, discard one card, excavate cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of Lightsworn monsters with different names in your graveyard. Then you can add one excavated Lightsworn monster to your hand. Also send the remaining cards to the graveyard. And you can use only each effect of Ascension of the Light once per turn. So idea with this card is, of course, it gives you banishing protection, so you can play under cards like Shifter or any banishing floodgates. Also it's a disruption if you send cards from the deck with Lightsworn monsters, and then you can get another extender from the deck and get some additional mills. I didn't want it to search any Lightsworn from the deck, because I think it would be a little too powerful in a scenario like you activate Charge, get Sophius, and then discard Sophius to get Ascension, and then again search any Lightsworn monster you want. So I wanted to nerf it a bit. You cannot get any Lightsworn, but just from the cards you excavated. And that's pretty much it. Please tell me in the comments what do you think. If the cards are too good, not good enough, or just right. If you have any ideas yourself for some Lightsworn support, and if you want me to make another video like this. And I did some playtesting with the deck. I like it a lot actually. I think the cards are pretty balanced. They are good definitely, but not like crazy. And I would really like to see Konami making something like this in the future. So thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.